Hi, and welcome back to the Killgerm podcast. I'm Luke Coddy. On today's episode, we shall be discussing Harmonix Rodent Paste, a new rodenticide from Bayer, which shall shortly be coming to the market. So who better to talk to than the technical manager at Bayer UK himself, Richard Moseley. Thanks for joining us, Richard.
Hi, it's a pleasure.
So to begin with, why don't we talk about what the active ingredient in the Harmonix Rodent Paste is?
Yeah, sure. So the active ingredient in Harmonix Rodent Paste is cholecalciferol. So we're not dealing with an anticoagulant rodenticide, we're dealing with a new family of rodenticides, a new active ingredient, a different active ingredient. So obviously that brings something different to the table when we start to talk about rodent control and how we manage rodent infestations.
So with cholecalciferol then, how exactly does it work on rodents?
Okay, so the way that cholecalciferol works is that it mobilizes the calcium within the body of the rodent. So ultimately, if you change the amount of calcium in the body of any animal, then it can have a detrimental effect. So if you do that in a controlled manner with a rodenticide, then what happens is we introduce hypercalcemia to the rodent. So that starts to affect the vital organs, that kind of thing, and when we get the rodent's body shutting down. So it's a different mode of action than we're necessarily used to, but obviously a different mode of action brings subtle benefits when it comes to the control of rodents, especially when we talk about anticoagulants and some of the concerns that we've had about anticoagulants regarding resistances, that kind of thing in the past. So, a great tool that's going to be of a massive amount of benefit to the professional pest control industry.
That ties in nicely with the idea of the stop feeding effect, a feature which the Harmonix Rodent Paste is promoted with. Can you talk to us a little bit about that then?
Yeah, well, one of the side effects of hypercalcemia is that you switch off the feeding impulse, the stop feeding effect. So, you need to make sure that the rodent consumes enough to ingest a lethal dose. But one of the benefits is that, after a period of feeding or couple of days, something like that, then what you'll do, you'll switch off that feeding effect in the rodent. So, from a professional pest control point of view, that brings us benefits. We don't necessarily have the same amount of rodenticide consumed, and we've got some good information on the purpose-built website for this product that shows that and identifies those benefits. But also, if we can stop the rodents feeding and chewing and gnawing, then there's certain aspects of rodent behavior that we start to diminish, such as the damage that they can cause that's associated with the rodents, because they're constantly feeding, constantly chewing, constantly gnawing. So there's those benefits that we associate with the products as well.
So in essence, the stop feeding effect is a byproduct of the active ingredient's ability to reduce the rodent's necessity to feed. That what you're saying?
Yeah, so the stop feeding effect, is an impact of the hypercalcemia, but it means that there's not that large consumption of bait. The consumption of bait doesn't continue, so we reduce the amount of consumption, but we still have enough of a lethal dose in the rodent to control them. And rodents, when they're consuming other anticoagulants, may continue to consume or damage for a period of time. But if we kind of slow that process down with hypercalcemia, then we slow that damage process down. So it's a benefit, but the main benefit is that you're not necessarily going to use as much rodenticide in this kind of treatment as you would using a different active ingredient.
Speaking of using the Harmonix Rodent Paste itself then, where is it suitable for use?
Well, that's the really nice aspect of this product, and I think it's something that's going to prove very beneficial and useful to the professional pest controllers who use the product. And that's that it comes with a very wide label allowance. So there's a number of locations where we can apply this product. That includes open areas, that includes waste dumps, that includes rodent burrows, and that includes covered baiting points. So these are all really useful locations for professional pest controllers who want to control rodent activity and control rodent activity at source. So, there's always a benefit of taking the rodenticide directly to the rodent, so you're minimizing the risk that you have of the fear of new object, but you're also minimizing the risk that the rodents will find something else to eat in between where they're living and where the bait is placed. So we've got this nice product that's got no known resistance that we can now start to take directly to some of these more difficult areas that might have been problematic previously when we wanted to treat rodents at source, such as in the burrows.
That's quite a distinctive component then, the ability to use the rodenticide for burrow baiting. Is that an important aspect of the product?
Yeah, I mean, the wide label allowance, it is an important aspect to this product because it does give pest controllers options. As I say, we've got this product now that there's no resistance known to this product. some of the products that we can currently use in some of these open areas or these burrow areas, then there may be suggestions of resistance to some of those products. So, there's always that element of how we control it when we take it to source. Have we managed to control what the target species, especially when we're talking about rats in open areas? This offers the professional pest controller flexibility. The other nice aspect of this product is that we have the Harmonix non-toxic as well. So we match the toxic product with the non-toxic product, which means that when you don't have rodent activity, you can still continue to monitor with a very similar product, and you can swap straight back into the toxic product as and when you have activity. So that's really nice, because from a overcoming that resistance of rodents, you're very much along that path if you can start to use the non-toxic product. You don't have to, it's not a necessity, it's not a requirement, but it's just a nice aspect of the product that with the bait matrix that you find in Harmonix, it shares the same matrix with the toxic and the non-toxic product. So there's flexibility there for your professional pest controller. It allows them a level of management. It allows them, a level of integrated pest management that makes the product very efficient.
I was going to touch on that later, but since you brought it up, with the Harmonix Rodent Paste, why does it work so effectively in tandem with the rodenticide?
Well, as I say, they're identical bait matrix. So we know that our bait is very, very palatable. We know, with the technology that we put into our formulations, we know that we've got an incredibly palatable bait formulation. So, if we can use the non-toxic in those areas, we're always aware of crew, and we always work within the crew requirements. So we know that permanent baiting is not always applicable in a lot of areas. But if you can do some kind of monitoring, then the non-toxic product allows you to do that. And as I say, when you have problems, you can swap straight into the toxic product. And you're kind of dealing with that neophobic issue straight away, because you've already got those rodents into a habit of feeding in those locations. And from an environmental management point of view, then, what we also have is the design of the packaging as well. So, we've got packaging that's in a flexi bag. So it's the first time that you see that kind of technology in the pest industry. So the technology within this product flows not only from the product, but also down to the packaging as well. And what we've managed to do with the packaging is reduce the plastic load by about 80%. So, from start to finish, the environmental impact of this product is very, very good.
Focusing on the tangible product itself then, I know pest controllers, they're a tactile bunch. What form does the Harmonix Rodent Paste take?
So it comes in a 20-gram soft block sachet, so a very, very palatable formulation. It's a formulation that we know works very, very well in a number of different scenarios, whether that be for rat or mouse control. The palatability is good. The product is covered for both rat and mouse, and we've got application rates on the label that are suitable for both target species. So refer to the label and apply as per the label regarding location and meterage of the bait points.
As per the label. Mark that off your bingo scorecards, everyone. I'm starting to realise how ubiquitous but pertinent that phrase is in pest control.
Yeah, I mean, as with any product, it's not an anticoagulant, but it's still a rodenticide, so the label is still key. As well as the label, we've got our interactive guidance documents, and we've got a dedicated website that gives a lot of information about this product. So, for that further level of information, that further level of support, then do drop into the Bayer website and pick up the information, because we've got a lot of really key and really nicely tailored information to support anybody who's using this product and every location that they're using the product in. So there's some really good information there. So I'd encourage anybody to go and take a look at that website and pick up any information. The Pest Solutions team from Bayer is also always available to support and help. And even, whether it's a site visit or something like that, we're always here to support, the users of Bayer products. So we're always here to help along those lines as well.
You talked a little bit earlier about how impressed you guys at Bayer are with the palatability of the product. How does Harmonix Rodent Paste compare to potential alternatives in that department?
Well, it compares very good. As I say, if you do visit the website, then you'll see some data there where trials have been done. So lab trials or trials by our colleagues over in Monheim, Germany, where direct comparisons have been made to other formulations, other products, and also general food sources not that rodents might be interested in. So, we know it works. We know the palatability on the soft blocks is generally very, very good anyway. And then we've had our own UK-based trials where we've gone out and worked with professional pest controllers. And again, we've been very impressed with the results that we've had in a number of locations where we've used this product. So, and for people who've used the non-toxic product previously, they've already got a bit of information there about how the product already performs, because they've got access to the same bait matrix. And I know a lot of professional pest controllers are using that product, quite readily and getting good results with it.
You mentioned how Harmonix Rodent Paste has a large scope in terms of options of where you can place it and put it down and so on. Does that affect the frequency of revisits?
Yeah, I mean, we've already mentioned the label, so always stick to the label. But also, what we do have to remember with this product is that we can use it, as you say, in these wide areas. So, as with any rodent treatment, then assessment is key. Environmental risk assessment is always important. So just as we would expect professional pest controls to do a thorough assessment with any product, we'd expect them to do exactly the same. But obviously, when you are using products in burrows, things like that, then it does bring additional potential issues. So that has to be taken into account when any assessment's done, and the follow-up frequency needs to take account of that. And again, we've got some nice documents where we take account of that on the website. So please dip in and and take a look at that information and pull out with the information that you wish.
So for the professional pest controller, how would this product benefit them?
Well, for a professional pest controller, as I say, what we at Bayer always try to do, and what we always want to do, is bring professional solutions, and also solutions that are accessible and is usable in many different locations, be that an insecticide portfolio or a professional portfolio as well. And we really do feel that this product offers so many options for the professional pest controller. It offers them so many new, usage areas that they don't necessarily get with some of the target rodenticides that they use at this moment in time. So really, it's the options that it offers and the ability to really take this product directly to the rodent. And some of those areas that might have previously been somewhat tricky to work with, then we've got that flexibility with this product. But also we've got in and around buildings, and we've also got mouse activity and permanent baiting where it's justified. So it's a perfect product in a number of different locations. And the potential is that if you want a product that you can use in a number of locations and not have to keep swapping in and out of products because of the label requirements on those, then we think products like Harmonix give that flexibility where you perhaps you don't have to carry as many products in the van because you've got one product that's going to cover as many different treatment areas as you possibly can. So it's giving those options with the professional use product for the professional use pest controllers. So, and we're always keen to go into further detail and discuss with pest controllers whenever we get the opportunity.
With the attention that glue boards are receiving at the moment, I think environmental and ethical concerns are strife in the industry. You mentioned earlier how the product uses 80% less plastic in its packaging. That's obviously great. Another feature of the Harmonix Rodent Paste is how it helps reduce secondary poisoning. Can you talk to us a little bit about that then?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a product that is actually processed quite quickly by the rodent body. So we would imagine that it would minimise the possibility of secondary poisoning. But what we do have to bear in mind is that we are taking this into a lot of open areas, that kind of thing. So that's why the assessment's important from professional pest controllers from a primary poisoning point of view. It should be treated just like any other product, any other rodenticide, with that initial placement and use of the product itself. So always management, and you'll still get exactly the same requirements on the label about searching for dead bodies and finding dead bodies. So that doesn't change. So the requirements are still there on the label. So the label needs to be followed as you would expect with any other product.
Finally, how can a pest controller get the most out of this rodenticide? Would it be a case of using it in collaboration with the non-toxic monitoring paste?
Well, for some pest controllers, yes, and for some pest controllers, no. So it really depends. I mean, every infestation is different, and every infestation has to be assessed by the professional pest controller and they apply it as applicable. So some sites, then use of the non-toxic will be fine. Some sites where you're not necessarily going on a regular basis, but you're going to deal with a problem, then that might not be as much of an option. And that's absolutely fine. The way that you get the best out of this product is to, use the guidance documents that we've created, use the interactive websites, work with Bayer, work with distribution. We've got a lot of knowledge about the use of cholecalciferol as a control measure. And also make sure that you do the assessment right at the beginning of the treatment to make sure that you've got the right amount of bait in the right amount of locations to get that lethal dose into the target species. And I think when you do that, and I think when you work with this product and work with us and work with distribution, then there's a number of benefits that are available for anybody who's involved in the industry, and that's for the end use customer as well, because obviously the faster we can control infestations, and if we can control infestations with less rodenticide, then there's a knock-on benefit for our end user customer in the way that we manage their infestations and the way that we can introduce ourselves and show that the way that we have, we can show our environmental credentials as professional pest controllers to those customers who really want to see that information from their contractors.
Richard, thank you so much for coming today and telling us a bit more about this exciting new rodenticide that's hitting the market soon. When exactly is it hitting the market?
It's coming soon, so we're just waiting for a few technicalities regarding delivery into distribution. So it will be with us very soon. If you go onto the website, then you can sign up on the website for more information, and then we'd let you know straight away when the product's available.
Fantastic. Richard, thanks for your time.
Pleasure.
Apologies for a few phone pings during that. Richard is obviously a very busy man, so all the more reason to thank him for his time today. I really hope that discussion might entice you to try or integrate new products as they come into the pest control market. But at the very least, it should give you an understanding of the contemporary products which are coming to the market, and perhaps even a projection of where the industry is heading in that department. The all important code, which allows you to access CPD points for this month's podcast, is Golf Oscar Alpha Tango 44. For information on how to gain CPD points through listening to the pod, please return to episode 19 on Glueboard, where I explain at the end. Remember, there are 12 episodes of the Killjump podcast a year. If you listen to all 12, you'll earn yourself 6 CPD points. But I know not all of you are here for that. Some of you just listen for my dulcet tones. Until next time, see you later.